Hello everybody, it's Drew, and better known as Bleakborn. Today I'm coming at you from the little basement reptile room to show you guys how the background has progressed. I think it's pretty good. There's a couple spots where you can kind of see the silicone still, but a lot of this areas will be covered with algae, moss, and plant matter eventually, so you'll never actually see it. So I'm not too worried about it, but if you guys are doing your own, you can touch it up however you like and make it perfect. This one I'm going to leave this way. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in my false bottom material, which are going to be hydro balls, and then I'm going to put some drainage cloth over that. I might make a little pond on one side. I'm thinking up front here, but I'll do that and show you guys how that looks, and we'll go from there. So here's how it looks after I've added the hydro balls. This will give me a good drainage layer. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to decide where I want a little pond. It might be right up in the front here. And I'm going to push all those hydro balls back to even help me get it even thicker and deeper. It's not going to be a very deep little pond, but it's enough to have a place for the frogs to get cooled off or whatever they want to do. I probably could add another bag of hydro balls, but I don't have another bag. So I'm going to go with this, and then I'm going to adjust it a little bit. So I'll see you guys after I add the next part into this. So now that I got a kind of a rough placement of where I want the rocks and the little separators, there's a little tiny pond up front. Let's see if I can fix this quick. But so I'm gonna put dirt in there and see how it looks. Generally you want to make sure you're satisfied with your layout before you add dirt, because once you add the dirt it's very hard to get it out. So I'm gonna put it in and I'll show you guys in a second. So here's how it looks with the dirt in there. I also put some aqua soil from one of my other tanks, and they're just a little handful. I filled up these little pockets here. I'm leaving this one empty because if I put an orchid or something in there, I don't want the roots to get too damp. And then I filled up that one so I could plant something in the background there, maybe one or two things here, plant something that doesn't need like a bromeliad or something here, and I could post a bunch of bromeliads against the back, and then some bigger plants in the bottom, and then that. I'm gonna fill up with water next, just to get it a little lower, but first I'm going to move it over to its actual stand, and so I can deal with it. I don't know, it doesn't really have a plan yet if I'm going to plant it before too long, but for now this is what it's going to look like. And I'm going to probably clean off a little bit of this dirt that I got everywhere and make it look a little nicer, and put some moss and stuff in here and let it start growing. So I'll show you guys that here in a second. Okay, now that I've got it filled with water and in a spot where it actually gets sun once in a while, I'm going to, since I'm not going to have a light on this one for a while, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this sphagnum moss here and wet it in this little container, and then actually add leaf litter on top of that and potentially plant it. But I think I'll do the planting for another video, so we'll just do the sphagnum and the leaf litter, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a second. So here's how it starts looking with the sphagnum moss. It's a little hard to see now that I have it partially in the light, but I'll jump in shadow so you guys can kind of see. It's kind of wet now on the glass too. But so I've added the sphagnum to all the surface down there, and then I'll cover it in leaf litter here in a second. And I got some stuff into my little pool, but hopefully that'll clear up and settle down. I'll add some leaf litter and I'll show you guys how that looks next too. So this is kind of how it's going to look like after you add the leaf litter. You can add more or less depending on what you have. I'm just going to do a tiny thin layer right now just because I'm kind of haven't planted yet. I don't have a top for the tank, so I can't add springtails or anything to the tank yet. But I think that's looking pretty good. Let's see if I can stand in the light. You guys can see. You guys can kind of see. I added the little frog bit into the bottom just to help green it up a little bit, but I will do some planting and adding some moss here in the next day or two, get some filming of that. So if you guys like the video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And I am Drew, and I'll see you guys next time.